everybody. Just a quick preface for this video. I apologize for my microphone quality. I'm just using my typical headset. I don't have a fancy microphone or anything, but I've been excited to make this video, and so figured I would just have at it and see what you all think. If it's too much of a problem, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. But just wanted to get that out of the way, and without further ado, let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first devlog for Vulpes Divinus, my 2D platformer game development project. My name is exiledev, and I will be taking you a little bit through what this project is all about today. So, I have been a software engineer for many years, and in my time programming, I've always taken a little interest in game development, but never really made something that I'm that proud of in that realm. When I was quite young, I did make a game, but it had some very, very glaringly obvious and painful flaws. And in a lot of ways, it was just very broken. But it introduced me to the concept of it. And so as I grew older, I played some more video games and really got to see some games that have brilliant storytelling and engaging gameplay. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to take these games, find what I like about them, and put them together in a way that, makes sense and isn't just unattainable and crazy like, some people go way overboard and want to have these huge game development projects and make a ton of promises and not deliver. And I'm not going for obviously a sort of like online MMO or anything like that. This is going to be a single player 2D platform game, um, with inspirations such as Hollow Knight, Ori, and the Blind Forest, and of course Will o' the Wisps. But in when I say influence, I do very strictly mean influence and not like I want this to be a copycat game of these, or I want these to be I want my game to be like compared directly to these things. These were my inspirations, and I'll tell you that I was very inspired by Hollow Knight's beautiful music, beautiful art style. I enjoyed the gameplay and the storytelling, and what really hit me was that artistic aspect of the game. Um, I liked Ori for very similar reasons. I don't know if I'd say the storytelling was quite as strong, but it did have great music. It did really hit your emotions sometimes, and that's something I really want to do in this game. I want to tell a beautiful story in a world um, that is very thoroughly laid out in its metaphysics. And that's something I may discuss more in detail another time. But I really want this to be a deep world, but I also want it to be a fun game with real engaging gameplay. I don't want it to be just a game where you're kind of railroaded on a story, and you just have this linear progression and that's it. I want this to be a game where a player has a lot of freedom and a lot of replayability. So you can come back to the game, play it again and again, and experience combat in new ways, use items in different ways, use weapons in different ways. I really want there to be a lot of depth and complexity to this game while still being relatively simple to play. I don't want it to be something like some of the online MMOs that just have 50 million different customization settings to the point where it's overwhelming and you don't even know like how to play your character. Like I don't know, like I don't play Path of Exile, but I've seen like the build there's entire programs for laying out like the builds for that game, and it's just insane and way overly complex for what I want to do. So I want that balance of complexity and replayability, but also still have a level of simplicity that makes the game fun to play. So with that said, I'll discuss a little bit of the history of this, which it's not long. It's really just that 6 months or so ago, I decided I wanted to really seriously make a game. And I've been programming for years and years, over half my life now. I've been a programmer. Um, and I felt like I'm finally at a place where I grasp programming and I grasp engineering at a level that I can really do this. And I challenged myself. I didn't want to use a game engine. At the time I started this, there was a lot of the drama about Unity being um, having that um, payment for each download of the runtime. So I was like, definitely don't want to use that. I wasn't really interested in trying Unreal Engine, and I really wanted my game to come from a place of the passion in my heart, which really lies with programming. So I know there's programming in those engines too, but I really wanted to make something from the ground up on my own. So I decided to write it in C++, for the best performance I can possibly get. So that's kind of where it all started. And the theme of the game, well, it's called Vulpes Divinus, which is Latin for divine fox. I love foxes, but even more so, my wife loves foxes. So I kind of thought it'd be a cool idea to have a fox sent from the heavens on a sort of divine mission to prevent the world from being completely corrupted um, by the archdemon of the underworld. So I thought I kind of took that idea. I built some more ideas, came up with some kind of lore and some unique world building uh, things here and there, and really created my own universe in my head for this game. And there's still a lot to be built, a lot of stories that I haven't written yet, or haven't, really thought of yet. But the main basics have been laid out. The main story mission, in terms of what your goal is and what you're doing, is laid out. But there's going to be a lot of flexibility. And one of my goals is to really have interaction with characters that can change so that you can have multiple playthroughs where you interact with characters differently and maybe make different choices when engaging with them. So that's another aspect to this game that I really wanted to enhance the storytelling and give it more depth. So, um, so with this concept, I really like the fox because uh, foxes are agile, they're kind of quirky. If you've ever heard the sounds foxes make, they're both adorable and ear piercing. They're the funniest little things, and I thought a fox would just be perfect. They're sly, they're agile, they're associated with cunning, and and in some cultures with kind of a mystical aura. And so I just thought it would be really perfect for what I want to strike with this game. I want this game to have a world of enchantment and a world of um, mystery and mystique. So, you know, what better animal than a fox to really be the symbol of divinity in a game? So, this game, um, this fox is going to have access to very many different methods of combat through different weapons, through different ability sets, which you will earn throughout the game. And you will be able to play the game in a non-linear way. As I said, the goal is to really give user freedom while still having that overarching storyline. So, um, so yeah, there will be lots and lots of different ways to play as you build the character up along the way, along the story. In some playthroughs, you might run into one weapon or one ability set way before another, and might experience early game or mid game way differently than another run, you know. Uh, Um, Even the fact that you're the same person playing the same game, you'll get a different experience. Um, and the goal is also to have kind of I don't always know how to say this quite right, but a low skill floor and a high skill ceiling, right? So easy entry, not really many barriers to entry and starting to play the game and being able to play the game at a basic level and even, experience the game in the way it's intended without being so ridiculously frustrated that you just want to shut the game down and be done with it, but also a high skill ceiling where you can choose to play the game with higher levels of difficulty to really push the limits of that difficulty and and be rewarded for it. Really have like achievements geared towards doing more difficult things because I know that some people like to play games just to play the game and experience the beautiful art and story, while some people love to really focus on the gameplay. Not to say that they don't also enjoy the art and story, but that, they really love the challenge of the gameplay, which I think is a fundamental aspect of games. So, all in all, I really want this game to be kind of an everyman's game. Um, Not in the sense of being like something like Mario Brothers, because I don't like, the sort of flat, undeveloped characters of that game. I want the depth of storytelling to have to be in this game. But when I say every man, I mean in terms of like difficulty. Any person can pick up this controller and start playing and have enjoyable playthroughs of this game where they can just put together their character with a couple weapons and have a good time, but also be able to reward people who really go for particular builds, synergies, that sort of thing. So that's what the goal of this game is all about. So where is it now? I've been writing code in some form or other for this game for I think around 6 months. Could be longer, might be a little shorter. I kind of lost track of when I started this project, but nonetheless, it's been about a half a year, and so I've certainly come up with something, but the thing is, I'm not good with art, and while I am a musician in some right, I've never really been that great at putting together music. Making music myself, I can perform. I am a classically trained pianist, but when it comes to making music, just not my forte, um, pun intended. So I don't really have a lot to show for that right now. Everything that you will see in this brief gameplay footage is Um, either something I ripped from itch.io just temporarily is completely disconnected from anything the game's actually going to be about um, in terms of the graphics. Or my wife did put together a couple of things for me because she is an artist herself, and so a couple of these graphics are from her. Um, but yeah, and it's not going to look great. It's all just filler assets for now. These are not going to be used in the future. Um, but yeah, I'll get in. I'll start up the what I have here for the game and demonstrate the things I've implemented just to give kind of an overview of what's been worked on. So you'll see you have health bar at the top, kind of with this little fox thing. That's one of the things my wife made. You got these enemies, and you can see their hitboxes and their health. Your character is, yes, just a white box for now. So, what are you gonna do about it? I don't know. Hopefully, hope that in the future I get a really nice sprite put together for this guy. Um, but for now, Mr. Fox is just a white box. Um, Over here, we have a bar that's filling up. This is a mechanic that I don't use yet, but I have partially implemented. That's going to be used for recharging abilities and kind of just being able to have a bit of a free play style where you can use this kind of meter to spend on things or gain benefits from it in some way, shape, or form. But again, haven't implemented any of that. I just have it, slowly fill up for now. Then you have these two. These two things are ability slots. Um, these are both icons that I did not make. One of them is from itch.io, and the other is a very poorly cropped um, skull icon that my wife designed. And so this is actually the partially developed first like playable class that you have. It's going to be called the Necropractic class, and it's focused around dealing death um, as an instrument of justice. So there's these pretty ugly, horrible goblin goblin things here, ugly enough that just the way they look is a crime against humanity. So, um, only kidding. But we do want to take them out because otherwise they are going to probably kill us. Because, uh-oh, look at that. And they're all kind of lined up right now, but it won't always be that way. Um, but I do have a little bit of combat here. So I actually have a weapon. I have a sword weapon, again, ripped from itch.io. You can notice that when I do a certain amount of damage with my weapon, there is a little bit of a stagger. Um, and that will be an important mechanic in combat. But swords aren't the only thing we have. In fact, the the combat in this game is going to be both melee and range. So at all times you'll have access to your melee weapon and a ranged weapon. So we got a bow right there, and you'll notice, shoot the bow at the enemy, get some particle effects drop in there. I was quite proud of that system that I built, not to, well, yeah, kind of to toot my own coding horn, so to speak. Um, but yeah, so we got some basic combat there, but I'm actually gonna have to restart because I didn't even demonstrate my ability. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can use these abilities. The top one is called Infused Blade. This is going to be a way to get some damage buff to your melee weapons because this subclass is going to be partially about buffing your melee playstyle. So, here we go. We use it. Boom. Did some extra damage. Pardon. Um, and so that is a little fun. You're probably like, oh well, cool. I can hit a little harder. Um, I, I actually think it's like 100 or 150% damage buff. It's pretty big right now. Obviously, balancing is going to be an issue down the line, but for now, it's fun to see health bar go down fast. Very satisfying. But this other ability here, this is something that's unique. It is the Curse of Carry On. And what this does is it acts kind of like a poison damage over time effect. Damage over time effects are also kind of a unique thing in this game. I have a lot of different damage over time effects that all function differently. So even though they are all damage over time, they function differently. Um, some are going to chunk your health a lot at a time. So boom, I applied that, and you see that skull pops up from time to time. That is when it deals damage. So this is a chunking damage over time effect where it's going to take a big chunk it's like half a second or so, maybe quarter second. I don't recall um, how I implemented it for now. But there will be other damage over time effects that are more gradual, um, kind of gradual loss of life. And some will have thresholds where you won't be able to die from them, or you might only be able to go to a certain threshold. But I am going a little into the weeds there, so I will spare you that. But I'll demonstrate this ability again here. Boom, you can see that health bar go down. It's a little bit blocked by the other one, but you could see it a bit, kind of chunking a little bit over time. Um, and, of course, now we can. Oh, almost got stun locked there. Kill the rest of these guys, and that's about it. So I want to be clear again that these assets are not going to be used in the game. They are temporary. I got them from itch.io from some pretty neat people. I'll try to see if I can credit them down in the description below. But I have so many different assets, I don't even remember where I got them all. So I will at least include the tile set that I have here, as well as, the kind of background image. And then I will um, uh, provide that credit in the description. So, well, there you go. There's this first devlog. I've been putting this off for a while because I'm kind of nervous about talking. I don't think I'm the most organized person when it comes to this stuff, but I have been thrilled to start this devlog series. Um, and I suppose that concludes the gameplay. But before I really end this video, I do want to discuss another thing I've been working on because I haven't actually worked on that game code in, I think, a couple months now. And the reason for that is I'm actually building the level design tool. Not just level design, there's some other things. It's the asset manager. It's pretty much everything you would a game engine would normally do, but it's specifically tailored for this game and the format that I store data in and all that. Um, got a tile set editor. This is used to generate tile set information, which is used to construct like solid boxes with the tile set automatically applied to them, so it knows how to arrange the tiles, what tile in an image, should go where on the box. Um, we got, of course, level editor here, so you can have an object, drag it around, resize it. Uh, I've been doing a little refactoring, so it looks like I got a bit of an error to fix there. I did a pretty heavy refactor today that I'm not quite finished with. And I'm also working on implementing a sprite editor, which will allow you to take a sprite sheet, kind of put together some of the standard animations and provide just information about um, how that sprite should be animated in certain situations. So, yeah, a lot going on here. This has been really the bulk of my work in the last few months. Um, and I'm hoping to get back to a point where I can really focus my work on the game again soon. But this tool is very important to the production of this project. So I've been prioritizing it first. I am the sole developer on this project. I don't intend to take on another developer. It would be possible that I might in the future, but I'm pretty protective of the code I write. It's just kind of a personal trait of mine. I love writing code that I alone maintain and control. So, um, so I will likely be the sole developer for this project throughout its lifetime. But I won't be the sole content creator in terms of music and stuff. I'm outsourcing music. I will be outsourcing art. And so those aspects, I want them to be very polished and very nice. And I don't want them to be a second thought, but I will not be producing those things. So this project will be not just a solo project, but the code is a solo project. Guess that's not really an important detail, but eh, kind of just getting as much information about this as I can out there. So yeah, there was a little sneak peek at the tool. I showed some gameplay footage. So I think I'll cut it off here. I got quite a bit of editing to do now, I suppose. I'm a bit sick and had a couple coughs and sneezes and rambles that I need to cut out of here as well. So I look forward to seeing what people think about this and what you all might be excited about.